Gadget, you been doing anything interesting?
Yes, not taking random pills. My God, man. But actually, it is slightly medical related because I've been watching The Dropout on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
So The Dropout is based on a very popular ABC podcast that came out a couple of years ago. It tells the story of Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos. And if you aren't aware of who Elizabeth Holmes is and what Theranos is, Elizabeth Holmes was, for a period, the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world.
Yep.
With her medical company Theranos. And she's also been found to be one of the greatest scammers to ever exist. So Theranos, the Theranos, the company she founded, she dropped out of Stanford University at 19. She set up this company because she had this brilliant idea of a piece of kit that can do every blood test you could possibly want with a single drop of blood on a portable device.
That's what I did.
Sounds like magic, doesn't it? Because it didn't fucking work.
Oh, shit.
However, she managed to raise... so I'll just give you a little bit from the Wikipedia on Theranos. Founded in 2003 by then 19-year-old Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos raised more than $700 million from venture capitalists and private investors, resulting in a $10 billion valuation at its peak in 2013-2014. The turning point came in 2015 when medical research professor John Ioannidis and later a few other companies, along with an investigative journalist for the Wall Street Journal, questioned the validity of Theranos' technology. Basically, she took the concept of fake it till you make it and never actually made it. But she was also an incredibly arrogant person, and her idol as a child was Steve Jobs. And when I can't remember if it was Forbes or the Wall Street Journal or something, when she was on her kind of upswing, referred to her as the female Steve Jobs, she fucking took that to heart. She was doing photo shoots in the black turtleneck and everything.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Was she neglecting a kid as well?
She didn't have a kid, but she went
Steve
off
Jobs did it in his head.
Oh, yeah, true. She went off the deep end with it. And, so she was this... I can't remember if it was this year or late last year, but she was actually finally found guilty of like massive fraud. She'd taken basically venture capital money and investor money, put it into fancy, flashy offices, never actually had a product that worked. Managed to get an agreement with companies like Walgreens and Safeway in America to have these Theranos units in their shops so people could go in, submit a blood test and all that. It didn't do what it was actually supposed to. What was happening is they were taking some blood and then sending it off to an actual lab to do the tests.
Oh, so just like a distribution of blood rather than...
Yeah. But the whole marketing thing behind Theranos' project was supposed to be you were supposed to be able to do all these tests with just the pinprick of blood, like the same if you're a diabetic and you had like prick the end of your finger and do the diabetes sugar test.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like that. You just do a prick of blood, and this machine was supposed to be able to do like up to like 200 different tests.
You should have seen me trying to get a prick of blood out of my fingertip. I was screaming. I'm going, no!
The idea behind it was that her mother was deathly afraid of needles, and so the whole idea was like, if you were to go to the doctor, you could do that. But yeah, massive fraud, massive fraud. So The Dropout is based on the ABC podcast. It's got Amanda Seyfried playing Elizabeth Holmes.
Oh, I love Amanda Seyfried.
Naveen Andrews playing Sunny Balwani, who was like a millionaire kind of best friend / lover / investor kind of person. Mm-hmm. The only other name of so you got Michael Ironsides in it as Don Lucas, who was an investor.
Sam Fisher
himself. Stephen Fry plays one of the primary scientists behind the blood work. Ian Gibbons, Sam Waterston's in it. Kurtwood Smith, loads of people actually. I think even William H Macy's in it at one point. Ooh. Yeah, William H Macy is a Richard Fuas. It's really good actually. It's quite strange because the way they tell her story, so it's kind of framed around the depositions that she gave.
Yeah.
And Amanda Seyfried is really, really good as Elizabeth.
She's great,
Holmes.
Isn't she? She's just great anyway.
Yeah, but she's managed to get... So Elizabeth did this weird thing where when she started getting big and more popular, she deepened her voice in interviews.
Oh.
And it sounds really weird, but the whole thing is like she had it in her head, and it might be because she got advice from Larry Ellison, who was the guy who founded Oracle. Also, notorious cunt. But
whoa.
he's a bad person.
There it is, guys.
But he gave her a lot of advice, and I think it came from there. Was basically the idea that she wouldn't be taken seriously as a woman because she sounds like a woman. Shock horror.
Fuck's sake.
So she started in interviews. She started dropping her voice lower, and it sounds so fake.
Hi guys.
It's basically like that. Yeah, she talks down like that. She like talks deeper than a deep voiced woman would talk. You know,
she's a woman that can sing and stuff, isn't she? She's got like a...
No, I'm talking about Elizabeth Holmes rather than Amanda Seyfried.
Oh right, shit.
Yeah.
All this time I'm like, right.
So Amanda, for this scene, we want you to sound like a man. Okay, can you
so Amanda Seyfried, when she's doing the later on public interviews, she's imitating that low voice that Elizabeth Holmes did, and she's doing it really well. But the voice, the original voice that Elizabeth Holmes did, was so fucking stupid.
I need to watch this. This sounds incredible.
It's really good. It's like really high production values. It's charting the time from kind of like 2001 when she was at Stanford and kind of moved and like her life then. So the licensed soundtrack for it is a load of bangers because it's
is
like
it on that
whatever.
Disney Star.
Yeah. So it's like songs that were available at the time, like even down to weird one-hit wonders like "Steal My Sunshine" by Len, which is just a banger regardless.
Oh, it is.
Steal my sunshine.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really well produced, really well put together. The acting is good, and yeah. So what I was getting at, it was the frame around the depositions that you gave, and those kind of cut in because I assume where you would normally have like ad breaks, you know, where you just get natural breaks in the story, where traditional TV they would stick ads, it kind of flicks back to the depositions.
Yeah.
And the depositions are done as it's filmed as a deposition, as in it's just a single camera looking at Elizabeth Holmes.
Oh, that's cool.
When it's in the drama bit of it, it alternates between being sympathetic towards Elizabeth because she's 19, she's making mistakes, she's not doing things right. But then when she starts the fraud, then it starts to look at her from like the camera. It's almost like the camera switches around, so the perspective is on her differently. Like leading up to the point where she decides to defraud. So the way she decides to defraud investors is it's one of their very early kind of fundraising rounds, and this is all in the podcast. This is all kind of well known stuff. And she goes over to Switzerland with the prototype of it, of this device. Now they've made the prototype work for sepsis, basically because that's one of the easiest things to test the blood for. And so they just wanted to show like you put the blood in the cartridge, you put the cartridge in the thing, and it works it out. Yeah.
Yeah. On
the trip over to Switzerland for this meeting, it somehow it gets damaged, or basically when they test it in the hotel the night before, it doesn't work. And they spend the whole night kind of taking it apart, putting it back together, doing hundreds and hundreds of blood tests, trying to make it work, and it won't work at any point. So what they did was the fraud to get through the investor meeting, because they had to show a working product. The way it was designed to work at the time was it would do the test, it would beam the results back to their server would work out the result and then send it back. They got one of the engineers to put in the results of a test that had worked when that request came through.
Oh,
so that when they're in the investor meeting, as far as they're concerned, they put the thing in, it takes a few seconds to run, and then green light, there's your test results.
Wow.
And when that happens in the show, the perspective changes and you see Elizabeth differently. You see her more from the people who are aware of the fraud.
Yeah,
and it stops being so sympathetic towards her and starts being, this is what she's doing. And I quite like that change, because up to the point, like, she's not the most likable person in the world in the early parts of the show, but she starts to become deeply unlikable as she goes on further, because she just sees people as an expense. She sees people as a means to an end to become a billionaire. She even says, like, when she's before she goes to Stanford, all she wants is to change the world and to be a billionaire.
Do you know, like, these billionaires, right? When you get to the being a billionaire part, I'd just stop.
Well, the thing is,
I just stop. I know. Now
the thing is, the people who become billionaires aren't normal people.
Yeah.
They don't like money anyway, do they? They don't care about money, do they? Usually,
it's more a power thing. But it's like you have to have a certain mindset to become a billionaire. And
tyrannical.
No, it's not necessarily tyrannical, but it's almost like sociopathic. It's very detached. Like if you watch interviews or videos with Jeff Bezos or with Elon Musk or anyone like that, you can tell they're all a bit off.
There's a glaze over their eyes, isn't there?
Zuckerberg. Yeah, Zuckerberg. Look at Zuckerberg. And Elizabeth Holmes was the same. Like there's all kind of. She was a bit off, and she's a little bit sociopathic. There's even a line in the show where she says to Sonny, says, I don't feel things the way other people do, but I love you. And like that's
yeah.
It's quite telling that it kind of looks into her character more as like this very dispassionate person, this person who's only interested about being a billionaire. You know, like people to her are a means to the end that she wants. But no, The Dropout is really. I've watched the first 3 episodes so far. It's a 6-episode miniseries. It's going to be a one and done thing. Like, there's no more to tell of it. She's going to fucking prison. Yeah.
I'm going to watch that tonight. I'm going to start that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's on Disney Plus, and I really like it, and I really rate it. And also, like I say, the soundtrack's an absolute banger. Some really good tunes in it.
Is she in prison now in life?
No, she
in
will
life.
be in prison. She's been sent. She needs to be sentenced at some point this year.
Right.
It's very hard to put a billionaire in prison, unfortunately.
On 3rd of January 2022, Elizabeth Holmes was found guilty of 3 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So she'll be sentenced at some point this year.
It doesn't feel like that long ago, does it? Like, I remember reading about it. What was it, like 6 months ago?
Yeah, it was in January that she was convicted. Theranos was only shut down in 2018.
God.
I'd still trial a product for her. She needs it.
I mean, if you saw pictures of her, especially some of the promo pictures that she did, you'd be scared of her.
Oh,
she's got that dead-eyed look. In fact, I'm going to find a picture to show you.
I like a woman in power.
I had to just, while you were talking, I thought I have to just listen to the voice.
The voice is incredible, isn't it?
Weird, yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, and it's really it's like such bad advice that she got given for that. There is a weird intensity to her. That's Elizabeth Holmes.
She looks like that crazy. Do you remember that meme, that obsessed ex-girlfriend?
Yeah,
I like a really long neck.
Yeah, it's just like Zuckerberg on a drag night.
Stop saying his name.
Fucking sell, Biggie. But yeah, it's she's trying to channel that Steve Jobs thing, that kind of that stare through you kind of thing. And if you
pretty, though.
If you listen to any of our interviews, you'll hear the voice, and the voice is just, it's unreal because it is so fake, even though she insists that was her voice.
This product works, I promise.
Kind of like that, yeah. It is like that.
It's like a little rub, like a.
I like her. I'm gonna pen pal her in prison.
Yeah, she speaks low and slow. It's just really, I really do recommend The Dropout. It's really, really good.